Welcome back to ShopDog-Garage. It's going to be another random and interesting video in this third installment on the plow truck. I am going to get started with our switched power point. So just pulled the battery. If you recall, we were going to use that bus bar as our power distribution and set up a relay, and then that relay was going to provide the power for some LED backup lights and for those little sonar guys. So we will see how that goes. Okay, I've been trying to find a quiet time, but there isn't one at the moment. So because we want this plastic thing to still work, this relay is going to be at an angle, but it meant I got to use an existing hole that was holding this fuse holder, so we just moved that over, and now I'm getting ready to set up and test it before I do anything else. Battery is hooked up. This is what would be our reverse light. So that's going to pin 86. I got 85 going to ground up here. And we're drawing power off this bus bar that I'm pretty confident has power right now. So let's just find out. We watch that. If I touch 12 volts, oh yeah. Look at that. 12 volts. That you guys could probably hear it. You hear it undo. No more 12 volts. That works perfectly. So this orange wire is going to be our power distribution wire once I figure out how to get it in the cab. Okay, so the connector for the reverse is just sitting up here for right now because I honestly don't know which way I'm going to run it. Whether I'm going to bring it from in cab or under the car. But that convolute going across is that power feed from the relay going through an existing location and comes in here, and I'm sure you notice there's more than enough of it, so I'll be able to get that up and around and then find a nice spot to join that with the other items. So I'm going to start mapping some things out. Almost forgot to tell the people what we're up to here. He's out making those brackets. We decided on a design. I've got the truck in neutral. I'm getting ready to push her forward because the next thing I really want to know is how all of this is getting in and out of the cab, so I know how long to make things. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this up, and I'll show you in a second where I think we're going to mount those lights. I can't believe this, but picking up a short bed truck is not as easy as you think. So used to extended and crew cab, the frame rail stops a little abrupt, so I'm going to try this spring eye here. So right now tires are still on the ground. Just going to pick her up so she's like an inch off the ground and just shake the bejesus out of it. I was shaking and I kept hearing this rattle, but of course I do. Let me get her shaking again. The bar from the plow. So let me slide that over a little bit and try that again. So I'm off all the corners, really pushing on every corner because I'm allergic to having a truck fall on my head. This is usually the scariest when you got a lot of weight in the front, very little in the back, getting her boinging. So yeah, when she's up, I'm going to also put a stand under the front end, I think. She wiggles a little more than I want to be under, but I don't think it's going to fall. Okay, so this feels like a pretty good height for what I want to do. You'll note we have extra support, and in a second I'll tell you if I need it in the back too. I don't think I do. No, we're good. But I got to figure out how we're running all these wires and where they're going to junction. Plus I got to break into that box to get reverse. So yeah, we're probably running up one of these channels, most likely just following all of this. But let's get her mapped out, see what we got to extend, go from there. Okay, this is what we're thinking for the backup lights. And don't worry, we'll have a switch to flip it off in reverse if he's out on the street or something. But yeah, he'll definitely see what's behind him now. Those are really going to light things up. And I did a lot of measuring and playing around to figure out that what's really going on back here is because this was added at a later date, they repurposed a white wire to be backup. And then once I figured that out, then I could trace it back to the junction, find the green wire it actually is. Then I came forward, and I should have shot this a second ago, but I didn't. And I spliced her right about here. Now I'm running her forward. I wish I had a green wire that long. I don't. I have a purple wire that long. But yeah, it's a splice right here, heat shrunk. And, you know, one of these little guys. So it'll be good and safe. But we're running that forward. That's our trigger to trigger that relay when we're in reverse. So we need that. And then after that, I've got to figure out how much longer those need to be. With the other thing is, where am I going into the cab? So I'm going to take a look around and see if there's an easy spot to do it. You know, yeah, what's that? So we'll take a look, see if maybe one of these drain holes can be repurposed or something. We'll take a look. If not, well, I'll take her to the firewall and bring her back in. Not my favorite, but if that's what I got to do. I don't want water in the truck, but I also don't want to run wire into the engine bay if I don't have to, or through the firewall if I don't have to. So, yeah, I'll have to see what those are. Getting ready to see where those little plugs go. I knocked one up to take a peek. Harlan's been doing a little service while it's down. And then that purple wire, I've got fished to that point right there. I got to drop the car, bring it up and over. It's too long, but that's okay. I can always cut it down. I can't really stretch it, but it's time to pull the truck back down and see if I can figure out where those are, because I'd like to know where that harness is coming in. That's the ones for the sensors. Okay, so these are the little squeaker tubes he's been working on. And I pulled that front seat out and I figured out what that point was. Obviously, depending on whether you had buckets or a bench, they had different mounting points, so that's right there. So I popped it back in. Bummer, but with the way the seat bracket is, there's no way I want to pinch all those wires. So everything is going to the firewall. Just more stuff running around and up. On the upside though, having the seat out will make working under the dash a lot easier. And honestly, it took like 5 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and fish that reverse trigger wire up and we'll go from there. Okay, so we now have that trigger wire routed all the way up and around. I'll stuff it back under there in a second. And I think all of that's going to fit under the little cover. We're going to find out in just a minute. Okay, and that's going to wrap it up for tonight because it's, oh my God, it's late-ish. Let's see. He's got to go down to the house and get more oil, so that reminds him to put that in. Look at that. That cover's pretty nice. So we got the trigger system and the power system, but we still haven't figured out where everything's coming into the cab. It looks like I'm going to be drilling a new hole. I really hate doing that, but those ones in the floor, can't use them. They're not useful to me. And the amount of wires I've got to feed through just aren't gonna agree with anything that exists. Yeah, I wonder if that hole used to be like a speedo hole for an 88 or something. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to get in the back, see where that is, and see what's behind there. Hopefully we can drill that, because that'd be up and high and away from water and heat. Because that's part of why I hate running things forward, is all that heat, because there's a pinch point right there. Everything's got to run right there. So I don't know if this is enough footage for an entire video or not. So if the video ends with shop wrecks in a minute, then thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. If it doesn't, we'll see you next week. ShopRex has to remember, safety first.